Alrighty, good morning internet. Week 2 update. As you can probably guess, it's a little bit greener this time around. Let's see if I can do this. All the greenery. So I'm back in Brisbane. You might think, okay, well, why are you back in Brisbane when you weren't in Brisbane? Well, I landed in Brisbane. And then the next day we flew out to Sydney. So yeah, week 2 update. Uluru was amazing. It was more of a camping trip than anything else, which was great. Got to sleep in swags, which is like an Australian. It's kind of like how to describe it? It's a mattress inside of a canvas kind of like sleeping bag that you can then slide into and sleep in. You have a little flap that covers your face so that if it rains that you don't get wet. So that was amazing. That was a great experience. Uluru itself, phenomenal. It's, how to describe it? You know how, I don't know how many of you have gone and seen Stonehenge before, but a lot of people say when they go see Stonehenge that they're like, oh, it's a lot smaller than they thought it would be. Which is, that's true. I thought it was a lot bigger myself. When you go to Uluru, it's a lot bigger, like significantly bigger. It's kind of like you stand at the base and you just crane your neck up, and it's like, holy crap. But you get to walk around it. The guide that we had, he was great. He told us these stories that the Aborigines tell of how the rock formed, all the different markings on it, where that came from the stories. After Uluru, the next day we did Kata, which is the other rock formation that's really close to Uluru. We got to walk through the Valley of Winds, which it was very windy. And where Uluru is more of a single stone that kind of pushed up from the ground, Kata is more of a conglomerate rock formation, so it's the sand and stone kind of glued itself together during its forming. Very different. It was a great hike. It was a little bit green in between the domes, but the views were just phenomenal. Pictures and videos to follow when I get back to Canada, just because I don't have my laptop here with me, so can't really edit them. After that, the third night during our Uluru trip, we ended up sleeping out in the outback. It was actually a cattle ranch, but it's a cattle ranch that's in the middle of nowhere. Like, the sunsets were phenomenal. There was a little dune that we could climb up and just see everything, and it was great. It really was. Yeah, so that was Uluru. After Uluru, we ended up flying out to Melbourne, which was totally different. It's very, very much a city. It really is. It reminded me, as we were driving through to get to our friend's house, because we have a mutual friend that lives in Melbourne. It basically reminded me of Toronto. So it's a big city. It really is. Lots of hustle and bustle, but it's a lot cleaner. And no disrespect to Toronto, but Australians have something right about keeping things clean. It was like Toronto, but not. Definitely hustle and bustle, definitely noise, definitely lots and lots of people, but it just seemed a little bit livelier. I don't know if that makes sense. And we went from Melbourne, got a 1-day tour to do the Great Ocean Road. Got to see the 12 Apostles, which are these sandstone pillars that formed along the cliffs on the south side of Australia. That itself was pretty phenomenal, actually. Like, it was just, you hear about these things, and they're not there forever. The waves crashing against them, breaking down all the time. So a couple of them have already crumbled, so they're down 2 currently. There was only ever 7 or 9 of them. Nine. There were only 9 of them, and 2 of them crumbled, so now there's only 7. Um, if you want to know the history of why it's called the 12 Apostles when there's only 9 pillars, Google it. It's a bit of a story. I don't want to bore you guys here. So did that. Got to see koalas in the wild. Got to see kangaroos in the wild. That was pretty cool. Um, Doing the Great Ocean Road, very windy, very up and down climbs. Um, I'd say that most of the turns that you do along, because it's literally right next to the ocean, most of the turns and the switchbacks that you do are at 35 to 45 kilometers an hour. Don't know what that is in miles, but I'd say probably around, I don't know, 20 to 30 miles per hour. So not super fast, right? And there's a reason for it. Otherwise, great view, amazing views. Stopped by a little place in it's called Apollo Bay. That was pretty cool. You're literally in a bay that's surrounded by pretty big hills, and it kind of feels like New Zealandish, like stereotypical pictures of New Zealand that you see. So, but otherwise, very homey town. Everybody's super friendly. It was great. Really, really was. Other than that, yeah, just a couple of days, like a day and a half, 2 days in Melbourne, and then flew back out to Brisbane. And yeah, back in Brisbane. It's nice. It's probably around 23 degrees today, 26 degrees, something like that. Not super hot. There's a nice cool breeze, some cloud cover. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the reason we're back in Brisbane, my wife graduated from her master's, which is phenomenal. Super proud of her. She worked her ass off to get it. And yeah, today's a day of rest. And yeah. So glad I can keep you guys updated. This is only week 2. I still have 2 more weeks, and I'll let you know how it goes. Probably the last video of this is going to be from the airport before I fly back out to Toronto. So, yeah. Hope everybody's doing well. See you guys around.